I'd like to now invite Mr. Doron Frenkel, CEO DRIIVZ Israel, to kindly make his presentation.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for inviting us to see how the ecosystem is developing here in India. It's really exciting. My name is Doron Frenkel. I'm the CEO and co-founder of DRIIVZ. We have started our journey about 6 years ago, where we've looked at the EVs and we have understood that it's either going to be huge or nothing. It can't be in the middle. This is one thing. And the second thing, it's going to take time. So let us share with you our journey. And before we start, a bit about the history. If you look over here, this is New York, Fifth Avenue, early 20th century. You see that most of the transportation is based on horses, and you may see that there is one car over there. 13 years later, you see that the opposite. You have the cars in the Fifth Avenue, and there is one horse. And now we have a new revolution, the EV revolution. But let's talk about the infrastructure. So the infrastructure started to be horses, food, water, and then we moved to oil pump. Now we have the EVs. EVs, you charge, you swap, you charge everywhere. It's home, it's in the office, public, semi-public. It's all about energy. And if you talk about energy, you start with 3.7 kilowatts, you move to 50 kilowatt, 100 kilowatt chargers. So it's another revolution. So we are in the middle of two revolutions, the vehicle revolutions and the energy revolution. And I like revolutions because it's an opportunity to make a better world and also an opportunity to make money. So what we have developed the world's leading operating system for electrical vehicle charging service providers in order to provide to them the IT, the software solution to manage their business in a world that keeps on being disruptive while business models and new business models are being created. In the last year, we won in two places. One is the accelerator of British Petroleum. Petroleum is one of the 11 leading companies in the mobility space. And Free Electrons, which is a consortium of energy companies from all over the world, where we were selected as one of the 12 leading and promising companies in the energy space. And we are proud to be in the middle of those two places because, as we said, we believe that there are two revolutions that are happening. So a bit about what we do. If you look at the right-hand side over here, this is an example of what the operators see in one of our customer solutions. This is the Netherlands. And what you can see is that we are managing charging stations in a country level. We have started to work with this customer. The name of the customer is ELAD. The people that knows OCPP and protocols may have heard about them. They have initiated the protocol. And what you can see is that, and I think that my friend here was also part of the OCPP protocol discussions as well, right? So what you can see is that when we manage that, we have migrated the entire network 2014 because in the Netherlands, EVs started to kick off and the previous management system was not enough for them. So since then, we are managing them, but they have moved also to smart charging. So all this network is being transformed now to OCPP 1.6 with smart charging. So it's all about energy management. Another example is ESB in Ireland. ESB started 2008, and in 2015, they want to move from a free to a paid network. There are a few challenges. One, the chargers were not really working properly, lots of issues. It wasn't really online, the drivers were not happy, so they say, how can we move and start to charge drivers if the system is not working properly? So they were looking for a solution that will provide them the operational stability and the billing side, and they selected us. So we have migrated their network in 2015, and we are working with them in Ireland, Northern Ireland, and in the UK. One of the challenges that they had is that they started free. So it was free charging for the drivers. Now, when you want to start and charge for it, so the drivers will pay, it's a challenge. So be careful on how you present free charging, because then it can be a real challenge. Another example is the US. In the US, we are managing the largest fast charging network, EVgo. EVgo started 2008, developed their own platform, and about 6 months ago, we've migrated the entire platform, including the drivers, the billing, the operations to our platform. and we actually reduce thousands by thousands of phone calls to the call center a month with our system. So we are working globally. It's a lot of transactions being processed, and it's like fast forwarding to the market when you have a lot more vehicles. And if we'll see what the challenges are, so what are the challenges of the different stakeholders? Let's start with the driver. So if you look at the driver over here, first thing is he needs to look for where he can charge. So where is the chargers? How can I charge or how can I swap? And is it available? Is there someone over there? Can I reserve? Is it already reserved? How can I register? And who is paying? Am I paying? Is someone else financing it? Can I make money out of it? And vehicle to grid that my friend here presented is actually a challenge for the drivers to earn money from EVs, not only to pay. And if we look at the operator side, operators can be utilities, service providers, or sometimes the OEMs, car manufacturers themselves, in some cases in the world. So what are the challenges over there? First thing, what do I do if it breaks? And it breaks. So what do I do if it breaks? What's the reason for that? What are the trends, diagnostics? Because if I can't measure things, how can I fix things, or how can I understand where to put more chargers, where people are charging more or less, what's going on with my network? And how can I reduce the cost? How can I reduce operational cost? How can I make money out of it? And beyond that, how can I manage the energy if I don't have enough energy? How can I manage it? How can the real estate manage that? It's a real challenge. And what about the driver? How do I communicate to the driver? So what we believe is not about only the management system, and the question is not a question anymore, because can you afford not managing your network? Are you willing to lose your job because you haven't done some connectivity up front, or you haven't prepared the network for that? Is it a worthwhile risk? So what we see is that chargers uptime is the #1 thing that is important for our customers. We have developed self-healing mechanisms. In over 70% of the cases, we know how to solve the issues remotely before or without sending anyone to the site. And if we send someone to the site, we know who he needs to be and what the issue is. Another thing is online information to the drivers. So we have developed tools that reduce the amount of calls to the call center, because it's a lot easier for the drivers to manage all their activity. Another thing is billing. The driver can see exactly what he was billed for, what he was charged for. Reporting, trending, it's really extensive in the system. We have huge amount of data from all our customers. Flexible billing is not only about new models of billing, because vehicle to grid is one of them, but it's also if you want to do some special plan. How can you connect smart charging and the driver? Billing is essential, and I'll talk about it in a few slides. Now, another thing is supporting different types of manufacturers. We are now supporting over 60 different types of chargers, different types of manufacturers. And in this environment, we know how to fix issues. We know how to treat the chargers as if it's the same charger, even though there are many. And if you look at the networks that we are managing, each one of them has at least 25 different chargers, because they've started with one, moved to the other, and actually it evolved. So we provide the ability to operate in an environment of heterogeneous charging. Another thing that you need to take care of is roaming, because you may have different networks. So what about the driver? How can you move from one network of charging to another network of charging? All about the roaming issue is a major issue. It's more developed in Europe, less developed in the States. The next thing is energy management. So if we talk about energy management, we are doing energy management on the parking lot level, meaning we know how much the building has, and beyond that, we know how much we can afford to provide to the cars. So we have mechanisms and algorithms to decide how much power the car gets. It's actually power bandwidth management that we are processing on the parking level. And what if you have many parking lots? It's actually a campus or a smart city. And then we move to the VX, to the V2G. In the V2G, and we have a set of pilots which are the most innovating pilots in this industry. So we actually are moving from managing the limitations of the current grid to a different ball game. It's how EVs can assist the grid and can balance the grid, which is a new game which has different commercial aspects and new opportunities. If we look at what we provide solutions to the drivers. So it's mobile applications, web portals, it's data about where can they charge, how much they have charged, and communication to the driver. So driver can open a ticket about an issue, and you don't need the operator, and you don't need a lot of the information that you can't get. The driver can instantly send a report, and the operator will get that. Another thing is the operators. So from operators, we have solutions for the technical operators, for the call center, for the billing operators, and in many cases also to the OEMs. So you can have a plan like no charge to charge, meaning the OEM, once you buy a vehicle, you get 2 years free. And actually the OEM is paying for the charging, and we can manage all those things with the vehicle numbers, and so, which is called VINs and so on. And another thing is, if we'll go back, is the smart charging. And this is actually how it looks on a site level. But what we are doing, we are combining the billing to the smart charging. So if you have a plan of a VIP, you will get more power. If you don't have it, you'll get less power. And you can play with that, and we have different business models in different places in the world. So if we look at how we can contribute, we have partnered locally with DRIIVZ, our friends here, that assisted us to get to know the market better and get into the market. And we have experience with many places in the world and working in large scale. So we have the know-how, we have the methodologies, we have the technology to assist India and to get to this next phase, because you need to think big in India, of course. And what we are looking for is adjusting the system to the challenges of India, and we think that we have the right solution for that. So with those solutions, you can save time and money. You can have smart charging combined with managing the mobility side, and we can get into more and more pilots, but actually large deployments, which we hope will take place soon in India. So it's all about enabling you to control the system and getting the knowledge and know-how and experience in order to convert that to the needs of India. So a bit of major takeaways: transportation is being electrified. It's happening, it's massive growth. It may take time, but sometimes it's going to happen a lot faster than you can imagine. Managed charging environment or charging infrastructure must be managed. Without that, you lose control. So be prepared for that from the beginning. Don't wait until you need to replace chargers or replace infrastructure. Do it from the beginning. Another thing, it's critical to combine the operational side, the energy management, the billing, and everything all together. Think about it from day one. And beyond that, let India get the experience from different places in the world, because in some cases, you don't want to make mistakes that were already done. You want to make your own mistakes. So learn from other places and then adjust that to India. This is our recommendation. Thank you very much.